Hello, welcome to our weekly Blue Jay football news conference. We're here today to talk a little bit about our game against Belton last week and then an upcoming game against Liberty North. Last week we had a 35-14 win at Belton to go 2-0. And, really happy with our start this year and having a tough upcoming game against Liberty North this Friday. I'll go ahead and open it up for some questions.
Hi, Coach Rigon.
Hello.
Okay, so obviously this game on Friday has a lot of hype around it. How do you think the boys' attitudes are going into this game as opposed to other games?
I think they're excited from a standpoint that we got a little better during week 2 than we were week 1. And we coming off a win is definitely better than coming off a loss going into a game like this. Obviously against a great opponent that's ranked high and first time we've played them. So they have, I think, a good attitude, excited attitude. Same time, know the task in front of them that they're going to have to continue to improve like we did between week 1 and week 2 if we're going to be successful this week.
How do you think playing against our rivals are going to affect how the boys play?
Well, when we look at it, it's the first time that we've ever played Liberty North in football, and all the other sports have for the most part. And so it is going to be a big game. And what I'm hoping is that we can continue what we've done so far and really concentrate on ourselves and not the opponent and the atmosphere around the game. At the same time, they're going to be excited about it. It's going to be probably the biggest game attendance-wise we've had in many, many years, if ever, at Liberty. And will be against two really good teams. And you look at the success they've had over the past season, and again this year, going into this year, it could be, that makes it even better because it shows how good a program they've been, and one going into this week, how good and competitive this game may be.
How does it feel to be starting 2-0 compared to other seasons where we haven't started?
It feels good. In the last 2 years, we have started off 0-2. And, for various reasons, lost close ones, lost ones that weren't close. But definitely it feels good to be above and winning. She gives you some things you can build on and some confidence and some validation for some things that you're doing. When you start off, work hard all year and then start off with 2 tough losses, you are sometimes able to rebound, but it's hard. And sometimes that makes your team stronger down the road. After that, we felt like that has happened the last couple of years. But we're just really happy to be where we're at and playing against St. Joe Central and Belton. Biggest thing, we look at ourselves, we thought we executed better this week than we did the first week. And that was to be expected, and hopefully it continues.
So starting off statistically, having North being ranked higher than you, even though you guys have a 2-0, what kind of technical skills were you going to this game differently from the others in the past seasons?
Well, I think our approach this year is different than it's been the last 2 years in our scheme. Defensively, we're pretty similar to what we've been, but offensively, we've had a big shift in what we've done. The last 2 years, we were more of a spread team. We're about 50-50 run pass, and this year we're more 70% run, 30% pass, more play action passes, and we use our run game to set up the pass. And we just felt going into this year that fit our personnel better. And credit to our kids, they spent the summer learning it, and then so far so good on that part of it. There's still a lot of places we can get better, and our pass efficiency can improve. We have to really improve our 3rd and 4th down efficiency. We've had some struggles with that, and I think we're 0 for 3 on 4th down, and those are things that have killed drives. We know in big games that we have to be able to do.
Because this is such a big game, are you preparing the team in any other different way, if so how?
No, we met as a staff and as a team, and we're going to prepare just like we always do for every game, and that we feel like that's our best approach to this game. Our practices will be exactly the same. We haven't had anything different, and just treating it as another home game from a preparation standpoint.
Along with going to play against North this Friday, how would your time of possession and pushing the team forward in defense, how would that affect the rest of the game now?
We know it's to our advantage if we talk about avoiding 3 and outs, and we have to punt and put the defense right back in the field. And if you look back at our game last week, our defense made a big stop. We did 3 and out on offense, didn't execute, and they scored. And that's on the offense. We know that we have to be able to put together drives and move the football with looking at our field position and time possession in those cases. For the most part, we've done well, but we're very aware of how big that is in the success of a football game.
What do you think is the biggest improved spot on your team from this year to last year?
I think our biggest thing is we're just more physical. We look at the film. We're more physical in the blocking game. We're more physical on defense. And I think that is helping us. And part of that is we started so many underclassmen last year, and having 17 of those guys back They've all got bigger and stronger over that course of time. And so that's probably, I feel like the biggest thing, that's allowed us to stop the run and run the ball better. Last week we had 330 rushing yards and Belton only had 150. And those are things that win football games in high school. So we know it's important for us to be able to be physical and run football and stop the run.
Keeping your great record in your back pocket, what for your students are you really just, and your players, are you trying to tell to kind of keep them motivated through practice and to keep the momentum going?
Right. Well, this is the type of the year right now where when you look at, you grind things out, practice every day for 20 days in the summer. And then we had a 3-week stretch because we didn't have a jamboree. We practice every single day and Saturdays. And they're in a groove right now where we play on Friday, we film and walk through on Saturdays, and then have a 4-day practice week before the game. And we do really live contact on 2 of those, lighter practices on Monday and Thursday. So they get into like a different groove once the season gets going. I think that helps kind of prepare them for games where they're not banging as much every single day, but still working football and doing the things we need to do, correct things as we move into our game times on Fridays.
Obviously, there's a lot of pressure going into this game. Do you think that the boys are going to succeed, or do you think it's going to hurt them?
Well, I'm hoping they handle it well, and it's hard to tell because they've never been in this situation before. We've been in big games before, and I think they can draw from that. When I look at last year, I felt like we lost some games where we were behind early. Both games this year that we played in, we've been behind 7-0 to start the game. And I didn't ever feel a sense of panic or anything like that. They were confident in themselves and what they've done and come back. So I'm hoping that we can draw from experience like that that'll help us this Friday.
Just out of curiosity, are you as a coach nervous?
Yeah, I think I'm always nervous before games because you want our kids to succeed so well. And, as a coach, it's our job to put them in the right positions and hope they execute plays. And that's part of the game. But I'm also excited. And I think there's a neat energy in our school and the community, and excited to be able to play a game of this magnitude. That'll be fun this Friday.
Just like in a game, you have to be ready for anything that comes and happens. So with the game happening, obviously the football team has to work hard. What would you do as a coach, just if they had to recover from a loss or keeping up your score? How would you as a coach go about that?
Well, I mean, if you look at after the game, we kind of follow the same. When you finish up a game, there's 2 things we do. One is we really break down the game we just played because we feel like that tape is our best learning tool. That's when our kids were able to go out and perform on the field without a coach next to them, without stop and redoing anything. So we can see what do we need to improve on. As a head coach, what I do is I go through and make notes for every single position of things, key point things that we did well and things we need to improve on at those positions, and give them to the position coaches, and they focus their drills around those for the following week. So hopefully we're always moving in a direction where we're getting better each week. The second part of that after the game is you have to prepare for your next opponent by looking at film, looking at previous year's film, breaking down their personnel, all those things you can do to see where you have the matchups on the field, where do you feel like you can be successful. So our game weeks after game are really 2-part, helping ourselves improve off what we did and then preparing for the upcoming game.
Along with helping yourself improve, obviously it's just the beginning of the season, but when the seniors leave, have you prepared the younger kids on how to lead and what to do in those games?
I think that's always in a coach's mind. You look at, boy, he's a great player, but he's gone next year. Who are we going to have there? And, you try not to think the way in coaching the now, but at the same time, you go and watch our JV or sophomore or freshman teams, and you look and evaluate them and look how they may fit in, what they're doing well, what they need to work on. And so far, so good. And our JV's 1-1, our freshmen are 1-1, our sophomores are 0-1. Playing some good football though, so we're excited. It seemed like they're having fun and playing hard in those games. And that's what you look at as a coach to continually have it, so you don't have a big rebuild season where you lose a lot of people and not have people ready to go in.
So along with your team and being at William Jewell, with our new field and everything that goes into that, how would that atmosphere affect the players in the game?
Well, Jewell's a great environment and a great place to host a big game like this, but we're extremely excited to have our next 2 home games at Liberty High School. The new turf looks outstanding. It's great to have it where kids can walk out of school and go to the game, not have to worry about rides across town or anything like that. And it's going to be fun. There's no doubt about it. We're extremely grateful that we got that opportunity to play those 2 down there and for the turf that's there.
Along with the atmosphere, like the band and the cheerleaders and the student section, do you think that brings in good atmosphere for like the students and like the all of that?
You bet.
Thumbs up?
Yeah, and it's great. When you look at it, I thought our environment at our first home game was just outstanding. I know we only got to play a half, but it was packed and it was a lot of fun. And that's one of the neat things about high school, whether it's a Friday game day in the hall or any sporting event throughout the year. There's a lot of fun things to go along with being a high school kid. And I always tell our coaches that's maybe one reason why us coaches are still in the game, because we liked it so much when we were there. And there's nothing like that feeling on Friday night.
With one of the North players getting injured last week and being out for the rest of the season, did you have to rearrange plans? Did that affect you guys in any way?
Well, usually a lot of teams have people injured, and great teams, great programs have people that step in. So usually they find people or shuffle things around so they don't have a big drop off like that. And unfortunately, injuries are a part of our game. We've had some kids hurt as well this year, and it's part of a team being able to adjust and having the depth where you can get the people in the right spots at the right time. All right, thanks for coming today, and we'll see you next week. Talk about our Liberty North game and look as we prepare for Raytown. Thank you. You guys did great today. Yes. You're going all